we come to something like refereeing and what happened last night. So in recent months, we've had the Gaelic Referees and Officials Association being founded. It's not recognised by the GAA. And then last night, you're seeing these stories come out. There's a meeting in Malahide at a hotel, and there's obviously, people obviously aren't getting on. A firearm is apparently, allegedly brandished. Now, you're hearing that, it's an imitation gun and otherwise, you're hearing different stories. It's all alleged at this moment in time. But that'll just tell you that there are issues at every level of GAA. I mean, I've been playing hurling in Dublin for 14 years, managing for the last 2 years. Referees are absolutely crucial and you need to make sure they're looked after. But this Gaelic Referees and Officials Association, which was featured on Primetime a couple of months ago, Nicky, it's very hard to talk about last night's incident, but that association is dead in the water now, surely.
I was aware of the incident until you spoke to me before we came on air here. So obviously, if what you're saying, if the alleged incident happened, obviously it's a very serious matter. But one way or the other, there's a refereeing body in every county. There's a refereeing group who looked after referees. There's a national referees body. I think there's plenty of fora in which referees can make representation and where they're looked after. There was no need for this independent body. I don't know the people involved in it, but certainly I think that their future has to be gravely in doubt at this stage, if indeed it ever even got off the ground. But you're right. I mean, referees have to be looked after. I do think there's a decent structure in every county. And the bottom line is that it's county boards, to be fair, are putting a fair effort to try and make sure they're properly looked after. And if there are incidents, county level or at club level, it's up to the respective bodies and authority to make sure they just lay down the law very quickly and bring the perpetrators to justice.
And it's like most of this was referees within Dublin. That's where it started out. Is there like consistency across the board in terms of how county boards deal with their referees in terms of the expenses they get, or is every county board their own island?
Well, I'd say there probably is now. There would be a fairness to county boards in general, and I'm a little bit out of touch with matters now, but I would say in general that county boards are regularly liaised with one another. They meet at provincial level, of course, and at national level, and there's a lot of comparing what do you do or type of thing. So I think there's a fair bit of consistency there. I mean, would referees like to get a few more bob? Of course they would like to get a few more bob, but are they being? I think they're being probably adequately looked after at the moment. But if that can't prove them, the county will make an effort to do it. So I do think, by and large, that when it comes to look after referees, they're pretty well looked after. I mean, the problem we have, and it's not just with Gaelic games. The problem we have is getting enough of match officials. To be honest about it, other sports are having similar type challenges because ultimately, that's very much the volunteering stages they're at, and albeit they get a few bob expenses because they have to drive to venues and manage the game that way.